Most people don't realize the difference between civil court and criminal court, but they are extremely different. In criminal court, the state, through the district attorney's office, is pursuing charges which can result in fines, also can result in jail time, and in severe cases can result in the death penalty. So all of those things are options, but none of those things necessarily mean recovery for the injured party. Yes, medical bills can be included as an item of damages that the district attorney can pursue if they're making a plea deal for probation. And over the course of probation, the person can be ordered to pay certain things. However, if they go straight to jail, there is no compensation for the victims of this crime unless the state allows such. So, criminal court is for putting people in jail or on probation. Civil court is when you are suing on your own behalf, the state is not involved, and you are going against someone who has injured you in some way, or there's a status issue such as divorce, custody of children, even such things as status as a name change. All of those are civil matters. In civil matters, you can get damages often or some kind of payment directly from the perpetrator of whatever injury happened. That's the big difference between the two of them. Is in one case, it's the state going forward in something that there is a specific law about. In the other case, you are seeking some type of civil remedy, whether that is a restraining order or $1 million, does not matter. You are asking for something from the perpetrator of the act to the person who's the victim of the act, or to the person who wants to change status in case of child custody or name change. So a lot of remedies are different. Another thing that is different between civil and criminal cases is the burden of proof. If the state is going after someone under the Constitution of the United States, they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the criminal offense occurred. That means that they have to prove that it's more than 99% likely that this thing happened and that any kind of other result is not reasonable. That yes, a meteorite might have caused the death of someone, but that is not a reasonable alternative to the person holding the smoking gun shooting them. It has to be a reasonable doubt. On the other hand, in a civil case, in most civil cases, with a few exceptions, the burden of proof is a preponderance of the evidence. Preponderance of the evidence in law school, they will tell you, is 50% and a nudge more. It is just more likely than not that it occurred that way. So it is more likely than not that someone was at fault in causing a car accident. It is more likely than not that a child is better off with one parent versus the other one. The burden of proof is entirely different. And where this becomes really important is cases that can be civil or criminal. See, for a case such as rape of a child, using the worst and most painful example of such a thing, for the state to prove that it happened, they have to put a child on the stand who has to testify in some way, shape, or form that this person injured them. Children are unreliable witnesses. Ask any prosecutor. They are not necessarily capable of remembering everything the same way it happened. And when they're recounting it, often they get very nervous talking about such a traumatic incident, and they can't really tell you what happened, or they freeze up. On the other hand, in a civil case, for injuries to a child of a sexual nature, you don't have such a heavy burden of proof. You have a preponderance of the evidence. So the words of a psychologist who interviewed the child, the words of a rape crisis specialist who interviewed the child can be introduced, and if it is more than 50% likely that it happened, damages can be gained or pursued against that individual. Some of those damages, including a protective order that they not be around this child. Some of them, in the criminal court, you can make sure they're not around any child. So many people prefer that because they want to protect the general public. But if it's your child, you want to protect your child from this happening again. And often civil remedies are the best way to assure that.